director for the Harwood campus, Polaris Forge 2 for Applied Digital. So I think there's a lot of lessons learned growing up in small towns and the prairie. You get to fend for yourself. You have to, kind of learn how to do things yourself a lot. That value of hard work is ingrained in a lot of people around here. And my childhood and my upbringing was definitely one of the core pillars of our families. You learn how to take on big tasks. You learn that you're a key part of a bigger thing. You realize that, hey, I have the ability to contribute and be part of things that are bigger than me.
Yeah, you can go ahead and stand up and right there.
We're going to do a quick sound check.
And Keith, can you talk?
Check, 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 check.
Okay, and then if you want to just clap in front of me.
Good. Cool. We'll start with the simple one. What did you have for breakfast?
Didn't eat breakfast this morning. Had a cup of coffee and
That's all man needs sometimes, man.
on my way here, yeah. So I grew up in a small town up in central North Dakota called Rugby, North Dakota. I come from a big family, so there's 8 kids in my family. Most of us are in the North Dakota area.
What do your kids think that you do?
They know I'm in construction. They know I build things. They know I'm a part of this project up here. It's been cool with this being closer to home, the ability to showcase friends and family and other people that that wonder what I do and wonder what I work on, but then be able to have us kind of in our backyard. They drive by it on the interstate, or they can see it from town or whatever, and they're like, hey, that's our project he's working on. So I went to school, I got a mechanical engineering degree. I got into commercial construction not wanting to be kind of your typical engineer. What I really liked about construction was the ability for construction to really impact communities, right? I mean, I've had the opportunity in my career to work on cancer research centers and hospitals and stadium projects. Throughout all of these experiences, what I started to understand was that construction, at least in my view or my ability, can change people's lives and worldview a lot more. That's my skill set to give back to my community.
Basically, you guys are going to finish off putting all this steel on.
So when Applied Digital opportunity came in North Dakota, this is a little different, right? It's not necessarily something that your kid's going to go up to and smile and hang out around and eat a cup of ice cream around, but we're soon on track to be one of the largest tax contributors to the state.
Out here, it doesn't look like much yet. Just land, open skies, movement starting to take shape. But every trench, every beam, every decision is tied to a schedule that doesn't move. Because in a matter of months, this becomes Polaris Forge 2, a 300 megawatt AI factory campus built in phases. There's no slowing it down once it starts, and every day counts.
So an AI factory, the way I explain it to people is that it's a data center in the true sense of the word, right? For forever, data centers have been a part of our community, from things like GPS to storing CloudWorks to hospital records. All those things don't live in a hospital. They don't live in the device that's in your car. They live in a cloud somewhere. So when people talk about AI factories, it's really just traditional data centers that are souped up to run bigger workloads. Because the technology is changing, because we're getting more and more need for quicker and faster and more powerful compute, we need to have bigger and more efficient and more robust systems to be able to handle that kind of workload. So it really is a traditional data center on steroids. If you aren't in the data center space, people talk about critical IT load, or they talk about total power use. So most of the time, data centers are described based on their critical IT load. With power available versus power being used, I mean, there's a big gap there that you need to span. It's easier to find the power than it is actually to have the power and make it usable. So that's the genius of what we're working on right now. We're finding power and we're executing on it.
This isn't the first time we've done this. At Polaris Forge 1, the first building is already online. Delivered on schedule. That build showed us what works and where we need to be better. How to move faster. How to sequence the work. How to deliver it again. That's what shapes everything happening here.
We started with Applied Digital a year and a half ago, maybe a little bit more than that now, and hired as a senior construction manager with them to come on and help with our backup generator plant in the Ellendale Building 1 project. So as we were looking at that, we did that project on spec, catering multiple different tenants along the way. A lot of changes in design and a lot of adaptability needed to happen along the way, and then having to have speed and agility to move around and change design and reposition construction people to maintain the same schedule. This massive project's happening. It's got to move so fast. We have so many people out here working, and then all of a sudden we're going to take a complete left turn, and we're going to change because we have a different tenant requirement coming in. So our construction schedules are built with weather in mind. It's not that complicated of a project from a design standpoint, but when you start to put that speed onto it, that's where the real complications really come. Because of that speed, a very high emphasis on safety, on project management and schedule management and quality management. Because with speed comes more risk, and it comes more opportunity for people to forget things or take the wrong step. So we have to be hyper diligent from a management standpoint to be making sure that we aren't taking shortcuts, to make sure that we are using a ladder safely or tying off correctly. We don't want people to sacrifice safety. We don't want people to sacrifice quality in the name of speed. It's a speed to market game that we're working in. It's a lot, and it's a lot for people to wrap their heads around, especially when you're talking about billions of dollars of construction, and you're gonna get billions of dollars of construction in less than 2 years. It's hard to wrap their heads around that. So as we came into this campus, we had already started the first version of this building in Ellendale. So there was a lot of things from a design standpoint that we found, and transferring RFIs and transferring knowledge of lessons learned from that building to say, hey, we could have did this a little bit better. Let's do that in Harwood. So we learned a lot about what the industry needed during the course of that building. We got into the next building, looked a lot of how do we scale this as a company? How do we scale this type of product as a company? It was a complete redesign. We now have a 1-story building. Our generators are inside, our electrical gear is inside, our cooling units are directly above it. Very simplified systems. We use the same parts and pieces across most of our projects. That's good because we know as a company what we need, and we can order it early because it's going to be the same stuff and no matter what building it is. Now as we start to go take this kind of franchise model across to other campuses, we should know generally what it costs. We know how long the schedule should be. We should know when we need the equipment there. That allows us to have a consistency in the way we operate these around with our tenant. Part of our ability to succeed out here is making sure we have the right contractor partners on these sites. So our selection of A&P construction out here, they're a key strategic partnership in this project and executing this project.
How's it going, Chris?
What about you, Barry?
Going good?
This makes me happy.
Does it? How's everything else going today? My name is Barry LaFreniere. I'm the lead superintendent for AP. I've been in the industry for 28 years. I've been an employee of Adolfson Peterson for 25 years. Everything that I've done in my career has shaped me in some sort of fashion. Workforce is king. If we don't have the people to install the work, the job, no matter how good you plan it, how good your schedule is, it's not going to get built. We're building for the future, right? So every project that I've worked on, whether it be a school to this right here, it's needed. Somebody needs it, that's why we build it.
Folks like Barry, that guy's good. He's been around construction for a long time. You got to know that if you're in this kind of industry and these kind of big projects, you can't be a guy that's just yelling at people all the time. You need to be a leader. You need to be someone who can motivate people, but then also someone who can rule with an iron fist when they need to.
So just watch your step around here, okay?
And Barry's that dude. Like, he's a lot of fun to be around. He's usually lighthearted. But you also know when you're in Barry's presence, like, you don't mess around. And so those types of people, those roles are very key for these projects. Make sure we have the right people out here so we can execute. In North Dakota, if you're in construction, you'd understand winters and building through winters. And it's just part of it. I mean, it's like, you got to be tough to be building up here. You kind of take them on the chin. You got to be careful about them. They can be really cold, like where you get frostbite and those types of things. It's a challenge for sure. And for people that aren't around this area, getting used to it is something takes a little bit of acclimation towards, but it's doable.
Talk about billion-dollar assets out here. You're the one that's overseeing this the timeline. Where's your stress? You have to have some kind of stress on your plate. Walk me through that. I know you got some in there.
Yeah, it is. So there is a lot of stress that comes with this, but I mean, you got to be a little bit of a stress junkie to be in this industry. It is, but it's fun. I mean, it's like a good stress. It's like you look out our window, you drive to the site every day, and you see like, man, these guys did some awesome work today. Look at these pipe fitters. Like, people don't think of pipe fitters as artists, but you ever seen a pipe fitter weld? Like, those guys are awesome, right? Steel workers, same deal. Electricians, the same deal. Like, it's so cool to see these guys and their crafts out here at the highest level executing out here. And it's so much fun to do that. My role is small in all of that, right? Like, my role is to help people clear roadblocks, get design figured out, get the right decision made so that these guys can get out and execute. Because that's really the job of the management group, of the leadership group, is like, get the heck out of the way so the real workers, the guys that are holding the tools, can get their job done. Every one of those guys comes to work and wants to work hard and it takes pride in what they're doing. So like, my job as an enabler to make sure that they're able to do that super efficiently.
The work is already underway. It's not one build, it's everything happening at once. And once it starts, the clock doesn't stop.